Hello guys, welcome back to Tech Projects. I am back with another video and this is the second part of our COVID-19 tracker. So in this part we are going to complete our COVID-19 app. So we will see what is REST API, what is API, why REST API and API are different, how to fetch data from any API directly inside our application. So in this part we will cover also some theory portion. So if you have any doubt related to APIs, then this video will clear your doubts. So don't further delay, now let's start the video. So for this, first of all, I open my NO Studio, so you can see this is our COVID-19 tracker, and in the previous part we complete the UI, and in this part we will have to write the Java code. So first of all, I close the all files. Now first of all, you have to simply open any browser. So I open my browser and here you have to simply type here Corona, and this is the API corona.lmi.ninja/v2/country. So this is the API. So from this API we have to fetch the data from inside our application. So what is API known? So API is called like a service. So we want to interact with our web and with our application, so that's why API is an intermediate between them. So API what can do? API can simply give the data and we can simply display that data inside our application. So now what is retrofit? And retrofit is like a vehicle type which will help to fetch the data. So API give the data and retrofit help to fetch the data. Let us suppose you want to move from one country to another country. So the plane is known as retrofit and you are the API. So hope you understand what is the difference between both of them. Now there is one more term what is different between REST API and API. So API has many types. So SOAP API, REST API. So REST API means simply fetch the data from one web server to directly inside our application. So that's why we say it also REST API. So hope you understand. Now I will show you how to fetch data. So first of all, this data is not clear. You can see it a little bit creating lots of confusion. So this is the JSON data, because if we want to fetch data from any web server, then we must have a JSON data or XML data, or we can't use any other third type of data. So for this is the JSON data, and we can directly display this JSON data inside our application. So now I will show you this data more clearly. So for this, simply open new tab and simply type here JSON formatter. So this is the website jsonformatter.org. So for this, simply copy this all, Control A, Control C, copy, and you can see now I Control A, delete this first, and simply paste that data here. So you can see it convert that data inside this format. You can see now it is more visible and more clear, so you can easily understand. So you can see this square bracket. What is the meaning of this square bracket? So this square bracket mean this is the array. So this array contain what it contain? It contain the data of countries. So you can see this one starting bracket. So from this starting bracket, the country is Afghanistan, then again array type, and then inside this we have some different conditions like ID, flag, longitude, latitude. So this is some different things. Now if you want to display that country on map, then you can use this. Now after this, inside this bracket, what we have Afghanistan, you can see country, and then we have a cases of Afghanistan, then you have 2-day cases, then we have deaths, then you have 2-day deaths, recovered, so active. So you can also any of data, it is your choice. I am going to use only 5 to 6 value I am going to fetch, but you can fetch any number of values. Now after closing this bracket, you can see this one part is complete. So this is the array of one item. So now this is the second item start here from this country is Albania. So we have to work according to these values. So we have to simplify these values, or these all values contain inside this array. So you have to understand one thing: whenever you are fetching the data from any API, then first of all you make sure where is the array and where the data start from here and what value you want to fetch. So now I will show you how to fetch data using that retrofit. So for this, simply open your Android Studio. Now first of all, the main rule of Android Studio, retrofit, for using retrofit, we have to create an interface. So right click on this package name, then new, then you have to click on Java class and simply select interface from here. Then I have to simply type here API interface. You can give any name, it is your choice. I simply give the name API interface, so it will create this interface. Now first of all, we have to pass the URL here. So I simply take a string here, then I give any variable name, it is your choice. So this thing known as base URL. So and inside this we have to paste the URL, whatever the URL from where we want to fetch data. So you can see what is the base URL of this API. So the base URL of this API is up to v2. So this one is only a base URL, and country is specify another thing. So let me show you again Corona. So you can see this is the official website, and this contains the base URL, and we have to add a v2, and this is according to different APIs. And so you can see if you come inside this official website of API, and this is the documentation. So you can see get the global cases for COVID-19, so you have to use v3, and these are some different conditions, so you can read this documentation. So we are going to fetch the data of a particular country, so that's why I am using this. And if you want to fetch the data of state, you can do anything. This is the documentation of the API, you can read it. So this is, I just want to say, this is the base URL. So you have to simply paste this base URL here and then add a slash here. So okay, base URL always end with slash. So that's done. Now add a semicolon. Now after this, we have to use a get method of retrofit. So simply take @ and when you type here get, you can see this is automatically display here. Now what we have to get, what we have to fetch? So I have to fetch the data of countries. You can see this is the country. So this is the base URL and this is the get method, and which I want to use. So I have to fetch what I have to fetch? Countries. So that's why I have to simply type here countries. So simply in double quote, simply type here countries. Then after this, what country contain? So country contain a list because it is an array. So for this it is called a list. So I simply type here call. This is the call inbuilt function. Then what I have to take, and when I call this function, then what I want an array of all countries, because I want to also show the data on recycler view. That's why I have to simply get the array of all countries. So I simply type a list and then type of list. So I simply type a type of list model class. So I don't create this model class till now. So model class tell what values we want to fetch. So inside this, now after this, you have to simply give any function name. So I simply type here get country data. You can give any name, it is your choice. Now this is done. Now the API interface work is complete. Now I will tell you how to create model class. So right click, then new, then you have to click on Java class. Then you have to type here model class. So this is done. Model class is created successfully. Now inside this model class, you have to pass that values which you want to fetch from our API. So that's it. So you can see this is JSON formatter. So what I want to fetch? I want to fetch the country name. Then I want to fetch cases, today cases, deaths, today deaths, recovered, today recovered, active. So I want to fetch only these values. But if you want to fetch all more values, then you can. So now one condition for this. If you want to fetch this value, then you have to give the same name according to the API. Otherwise, it will not work. And there are some different methods to make it workable, like serializable. But for now, I am not going to in that concept. So for this, you have to simply type that names here. Let us suppose a country name present inside this country. So you have to type the exact same name here. So I have to simply take a string here. Now, then after this, what value I want to fetch? So I have to fetch cases. So I have to confirm. So I simply type here cases. So you can see cases contained in this variable cases. So you have to give the same variable here. Okay. Then we have a today cases. Let me confirm this again variable. So this is, you can see today cases. This is capital C. So that's why I type here capital C. So this is done. Now we have to type any values whichever you want to fetch. So I simply type here today deaths, then recovered, then after this today recovered, then after this we have a active, and then at last what we have a country. So that's it. Now after this, what we have to do, we have to create a getter and setter. So simply first of all create constructor, select all, okay. So this create the constructor. Now after this, alt insert, getter and setter, select all, okay. So this is created successfully. Now it's showing error. Let me check, this is the error. So close this. So now come inside API interface. You can see now the model class array is gone. Now click on this and import this list, alt plus enter. So now import this method, call method, alt and enter, import this. And we have to use this retrofit, not the android.telecom. We have to use this retrofit. So this is done. Now you can see the error is gone. Now this is done. Now the two parts of our working of API is complete. Now we have to use the third part. So third part is to create the object of instance of retrofit. So for this, right click here, then new, then you have to click on Java class. You can write this same code inside our main activity directly, but it is better choice if you create the new class for this. So I simply give the class name API utilities. Then inside this, first of all, I have to simply declare a variable. So I simply type a public, then I can simply type a static. Then I give the variable type retrofit, and then retrofit, and inside this I simply store null. So by default what it contains, null. So whenever user want to fetch the data, then you have to simply create the object of this. So that's why. So I simply type here public static, then I have to type here API interface. Then I simply give the method name get API interface, then 2 brackets. Then inside this we have, whenever we call this function get API interface, then it should return the object of this. So I simply type here if retrofit is null. So if it is null, then it means the object is not created till now, or we can say instance. So then we have to simply create this. So I simply type here retrofit new retrofit dot builder, this one, and after this you have to simply type here base URL, and where is the base URL present? Inside our API interface dot base URL. So this is done. Then we have to type here add converter factory, and inside this you have to simply type here JSON converter factory, and inside this you have to type here dot create, then dot build. So it will build this. Now add a semicolon. So this is done. Now what we have to do, we have to simply return this whenever we call this function. So for this, come outside from this if, then return. Then you have to type here retrofit dot create, and inside this what you have to pass our API interface dot class. So this work is also complete. Now the all work is complete of APIs and model classes. So now we can start writing code inside our main activity to how to show data on our application. So first of all, one thing I want to tell you, before writing any Java code, let's do XML code of recycler view item. So I have to simply right click on layout, then new, then you have to click on layout resource file. Then I have to simply type here, you can give any variable name. I simply type here layout underscore item. You can give any variable name. Then from here simply select the relative layout, then click on OK, then click on split. So first of all, after this we have to give the padding here. So simply type here padding and give the padding 10 dp, it is fine. Now press enter. Now after this simply take a card view here. Then we have to give the layout with match parent, height wrap content is fine. Then we have to give the background tint, and background tint is card BG is fine. And after this we have to card corner radius. So card corner radius 10 dp, it is fine. Then after this what we have a padding. So simply give the padding 10 dp, it is fine. Then close this. Now inside this what we need a linear layout, because we have two items. So simply take an open bracket, type here linear layout, set the layout with match parent, height wrap content. Now give the padding again 10 dp, it is fine. Then we have to give the orientation. Orientation is horizontal, this is fine. Now close this. Now inside this linear layout we have to take two text views. So simply take an open bracket, type here text view, set the layout with wrap content, height wrap content. Now give any text. So I simply type here India, you can type whatever you want. Then after this text style bold, and after this you have to give any text padding left, give the padding left 10 dp, it is fine. Now give the text color. So text color is hashtag 202020. So this color is fine. Now we have to give any ID. So I simply give the ID name, country name. So this will help in whenever we will write the code inside our adapter to show all data. Then we have to give any text size. So text size is 15 sp, it is fine. And then we have to give the layout weight, and give the layout weight 1. Then close this. So this item is created successfully. Now this color is not looking fine, so delete this card BG color, and the actual color of this, I think hashtag FA, this one is actual color. Now below this text view what we need one more text view. Set the layout with wrap content, height wrap content, and after this we have to give any text. So you can give any text, it is your choice. So for now I simply pass this number. Then we have to give any ID. So I simply type here ID, country, case. You can give any name. Then we have to give the padding right. Give the padding right what we have to give. So you can give any padding right. I give 10 dp, it is fine. Then we have to give the text size. So text size 15 sp, it is fine. Now we have to give the text color. So text color is hashtag 202020. Then we can give the text style bold, then close this. Now the recycler view layout is created successfully. Now we can successfully write the adapter code and our Java code. So I simply collapse this empty tag. So this is done. Now come inside our activity main XML main.java. So here we have to write our main code. So first of all, let's start writing a code here. So first of all, what we need a variable of country picker code picker type. So country code picker, then semicolon. Now after this we have a text to use. So our number of text to use is 8. So first is m today total, then we have a m total, because I simply add extra m to make a better naming convention. Then m active, m today active, then m recovered, m today recovered, then m deaths and m today deaths. So these are the variables which we are going to use. Now inside this, first of all we have a string, and then I simply type here country, which will hold the country which is selected by the user. Now we have a text view, and simply I give the text view name mfilter, because we have a text view on our recycler view to show the currently filter item. Then after this, what we have a spinner also inside this. Then we have to take an array to store the value which we want to show inside our spinner. So I simply type here types. Then inside this, whatever you want to pass here, you can pass. So simply type I want to pass 4 item cases, then the next item is deaths, then the next item is recovered, and the last item is active. So you can pass whatever items you want. So this is done. Now we have to take 2 model class list. So private list, then I simply give the list type of model class, and then give the list name model class list, then semicolon. Now it's showing error, so click on this and import this list. So now the second list. So why I need to take 2 lists? Because 1 list for our recycler view and 1 list for our normal data. So model class, and I simply give the list name model class list 2, this one. You can give any name, it is your choice. Now after this, what we have a variable of pie chart. So I simply type here pie chart, then give the variable name m pie chart. Then after this, we have a recycler view, private recycler view. Then at last, what we have a adapter. So I simply give the variable name adapter. I don't create the adapter class till now, but don't worry, we will create later. Now one thing we have to implement here, because if I want to use on click listener on our spinner item, then we have to simply implement here implements adapter dot on item. It is not showing adapter view dot on item selected listener, this one. So now take your cursor here and click on implement method. So it will implement the method on item selected, on nothing selected. Now click on OK. So this is done. Now let's give some XML ID into our Java IDs, and then we will write some main code. So you have to simply type here get support action bar dot hide to hide the action bar. Then we have to simply type here country code picker equal, then inside this find by id r.id dot cpp. I give that name inside our XML. So I simply copy paste this line, control D. So now it simply change the naming convention. So the second variable is m today active, then I have a m active, then m death, then m today deaths, then we have a m recovered, then what we have a m today recovered. Now we have a m total, and at last what we have m today total. So this is done. Now change the naming convention here. So inside m today active, what I have to store? Today active. Inside active, what I have to save? Active. Then inside m death, what I have to do? Today death, total death, sorry, here. Then here we have to type here today death. Then m recovered. Inside this, what we have, type here recovered case, and m today recovered. Inside this, what I have to type here, m today recovered. Then we have a m total. Inside this, what I have to type here, total case till now. And at last what we have a today total. So this work is complete. Now we have to give the IDs on our spinner and pie chart. So for this, simply delete this line and simply type here m pie chart. Simply type here m pie chart equal find view id r.id dot pie chart. So this is done. Now we have to type here spinner equal find view id r.id dot spinner. Then at last what we have, m filter equal find view id r.id dot, this is the text view which we want to show the current selected object. And then we have a recycler view equal find view id r.id dot recycler view. Then at last what is left, country picker is done, library done, and then we have to simply type here model class list equal new array list. So this is done. And then we have to type here again model class list 2 equal new array list. This is done. Now the work is complete. Now first of all, let's write the code for our spinner. So spinner dot set on item selected listener, and inside this we have to pass the context, and which is the context this. Now we have to type here array adapter, then dot simply give the name array adapter, then new array adapter, inside this pass the context. Then we have to simply type here android dot r dot layout dot simple spinner drop down item, then semicolon. This is done. Now after this we have to simply type here array adapter dot set drop down view resource. Inside this again type here android r dot layout dot simple spinner drop down item, and this is done. Now below this what we have to type here, we have to simply set this adapter spinner dot set adapter, and inside this we have to pass our array adapter. So this is done. Now after this, now I will show you first of all how to fetch the data on our graph and on our main screen, which is on the top of the screen on our material card views. So that's why. So for this we have to simply call the object of API utility. So I simply type here API utilities dot get API interface. So it will return the interface. Then what we have to call, we have to call the function get country data. So it will return the list of all country. Then we have to simply enqueue this, then new, then call. So it will automatically write the whole code. So you can see this is done. Now inside this what we have to do, this is the data for our all countries, and which we can show this data on our recycler view. So that's why I simply type here model class list 2. I take this list for our recycler view, then simply type here add all, and inside this what I have to type here response dot body. So this is done. You can see this is very easy. Now we have to simply type here adapter dot notify dataset chain. So it is not appearing here because I don't create the adapter, I don't assign anything inside adapter, that's why I don't create the cycle view. So don't worry, leave it for now. Now this is done. Now below this first of all we have to type here adapter equal new adapter, and this is not one adapter. Then we have to pass here get application context, and second thing which we pass here model class list 2 inside our recycler view. Then we have to simply type a recycler view dot set layout manager new linear layout manager dot this, and after this what we have to type here recycler view dot set has fixed size, and inside this simply pass true. Then we have to type here recycler view dot set adapter, and inside this simply pass a adapter. So this is done. Now let's create first adapter, because firstly I am working with recycler view, so that's why I simply call this API utilities and simply get the all country data, and then simply I add the all country data inside our model class list, and then I have to simply send this list to our recycler view, and then we can simply show this list on our recycler view. So I simply new, then Java class, give the class name adapter. That's that. Now come inside our main activity. So first of all we have to extend here recycler view. So for this you have to type here extend recycler view dot adapter, and inside this we have to pass here adapter dot view holder. So this is done. Now we have to implement methods. So take your cursor here, implement methods, click on OK. So it will implement methods. So this is the error due to because I update my Android Studio, that's why it's showing this. So if you have this method then it is fine. If it is not if this method is not present then it is also fine. So you don't need to any worry. So what we can do, we can simply delete this and also delete this from here. delete this from here. So you can see it is fine. Now we have to create this view holder class. So take your cursor here, create class view holder. So this is done. Now take your cursor again here, simply click on make this one, and then take your cursor again here. Then we have to simply create constructor matching super. So now remove this from here also. So this is done. Now the recycler view is created successfully. Now first of all, inside this recycler view, what we need a one more variable, int m1. So it will help to filter the items. So later I will tell you how it is working, so don't worry. Then we have to simply type here context. I need context here. Then the second thing which I need a list of model class type, and I simply give the name here country list. Then semicolon. Now click on this first of all, and alt enter, import this context. Now we have to create a constructor. So constructor, then we have to take two things, country context and country list. So this is done. Now we have to return this view. So for this, simply type here view equal layout inflator dot from context dot inflate r dot layout dot, and our item name is layout item. So this one is our layout file. Then what we have to type here, attach to root, then attach to root null, and after this we have to pass here false. Then we can simply return this, return new view holder, and inside this simply pass the view and then semicolon. Now instead of 0 here inside on item count, I simply type here country list dot size. So this is done. Now first of all come here, and inside this what we have a two text view inside our item. So I simply type here item cases, and then we have a country, this one. So now I have to type here cases equal find view by id, sorry this is not one, item view dot find view by id r dot id dot cases. So let me confirm what is the id name. So I open this file, click on this, so I give the id name country case here, country name. So this is adapter country case, this one, and inside our country item view dot find view by id r dot id dot country name. So this is fine. Now this work is complete. Now we have to simply write the code inside our onBind view holder. So I have to write some code here. So first of all, we have to take the position of item. So simply type here model class, then give model class equal country list dot get position. So this is done. Now we have to check if m equal 1. So simply type the code with me, just with me, and then I will explain the code. So I simply type here if m equal 1, then I have to simply type here cases, set text. Then how we get the cases? So we are getting the case from our model class. So first of all, if we want to show the comma between numbers, then we simply use this number format dot get instance dot format, and inside this we can pass integer dot parse int, and then we can simply type here model class dot get cases. So if you want to display the number with comma, otherwise you can simply pass this model class dot get cases. So this is done. Now else if m equal 2, then what we have to do, we have to simply show the recovered cases. So I simply type this here, and then I can simply type here recovered. So this is fine. Now else if m equal 3, if else m equal 3, then I have to show the deaths. So this is done. Now at last what we have, else we can show recovered done active, sorry. So I can simply type here get active. So the recycler view work is complete. Now come inside our main activity. So it is showing error because this adapter is inbuilt adapter. So I simply type here adapter, this is the class, and I give the variable name adapter. Now you can see the error is gone. Now it's showing, so delete this first and simply type here adapter equal new adapter, and inside this we have to pass two things, which is our get application context and model class list true, then semicolon. Now the work of this activity is complete for our recycler view. Now we have to write the main code of how to show the data, particular country data with the graph, using graph ends. So first of all, let us suppose user change any country and user select any country. Then first of all we have to write that code. So I simply type here country code picker dot set auto detect country. So first of all, it automatically detect the country, which country is present on our, by default present on our inside our screen. So that's why it is fine. Now I simply type here country, and if user change the country, then what I have to type country code picker dot get selected country name. So it will automatically detect the country, and then I will store that country name inside the country variable. Now if user want to change the country, so then I have to simply type here country code picker dot set on country chain listener, then new, then press enter. So it will return that country which is selected by the user that time. So I simply type here country equal country code picker dot get selected country. Now I will simply get that country name which is selected by the user now, and then I can simply call the function fetch data. So this will only work when user want to change the country. Otherwise we can simply call the function fetch data. And if user change the country, then we have to again call this function. Otherwise we have to simply use the fetch data normally. And if user change the country, then we have to call this function again. Now we have to create this function fetch data. So take your cursor here, click on this ball, create method. So it will create this method. So here we have to write all code. So first of all, we have to do the same thing again. API utilities dot get API interface dot get country data. We will get the all country data now. NQ, then new, then callback. This is fine. Now inside this, what we have to, first of all, we simply add all data inside our model class list dot add all, and inside this simply pass the response dot body. We all add the all country data. Now we have to show the specific country data. So I simply run the loop here for I equals 0 and up to where I want to run the loop. So I have to declare variable int I equals 0, then up to where I want to run the loop, up to the size of model class list. So I less than model class list dot size. Then I have to simply increment the value I plus plus. So this is done. Now inside this we have to check if model class list dot get I will return the position. If model class list dot get I dot get country, we will get the country name first, and then we have to simply compare this country name with our country which is selected by the user. So I simply pass here country variable. So because on my graph I want to show the only data which is selected by the user, or that country which is selected by the user. So that's why I simply compare this. If model class list is equal to country, then we have to simply show that data. So for this, what I can do, I can simply type here am active, first of all dot set text. Then we have to use the number format again. If we want to use, then you can use, it is your choice. Dot get instance dot format, and inside this what we have to show, we have to show the active cases. So get active. So model class list dot get I, and after this dot get active. So we will get that active cases of that thing. Now we have am today death. Now one thing I want to tell you, there is no today active cases, because active case is active case and there is no today case active case present on API. So that's why, because we have a total number of active cases. So hope you understand. So I simply type here am today death dot set text, then number format dot get instance dot format, and inside this model class list dot get I, then we have to show the get today deaths. Now we can control we have a 7 text use, that's why. Now inside of am today recovered, and I can simply type here, call the function getter method recovered. Am today death, so is done, active done, am today total. So I can simply call the function am today get today cases. Now we have a am total. So inside this we can call the function get cases, and then we have a am deaths. So then we can call the function get deaths. Now at last what we have a recovered. So am recovered, then we can simply call the function recovered. Now after displaying that data on our card views, then what we have to do, we have to simply update the graph. So for updating the graph, what we have to pass, simply 4 things on our graph. So I simply create this function update graph, and inside this we have to pass 4 values. So first value is our total case. So I can simply type here model class list dot get I dot get cases. Now the second thing which I want to pass, active case, and model class list dot get I dot get active. Now the third thing which I want to pass, model class list dot get I, and then we can pass recovered, and at last what we can pass get cases is done active return, and we have to pass the deaths dot get I, and then we can simply pass here got deaths. So this is semicolon. Now we have to simply create this function, and then we have to simply receive these values. So create method, and then we have to create this method. Now you can see we are getting 4 parameters here, and then we have to simply set this 4 parameter on our graph. So first of all, if user change the country, then we have to show the different graph. So that's why we have to simply use the function here mClearChart. So it automatically create the previous chart. Then we have to simply type here mPyChart dot add pie slice. Then inside this new pie model, and after this we have to pass confirm. You can give any variable name. This is any cases like. Then what we have to show on this, we have to show the cases, total number of cases. So this is done. Now we have to simply pass the color which I want to show on graph, color dot parse color, and inside this we can pass the color code. So in double quotes you have to type here hashtag. So this is done. So it's a required type float and provided string. So this is the error due to because it want integer or float value, but we are providing string, so that's why it is not able to show. So for this what I can do, first of all add press enter. Then I have to pass 4 things. So I can simply type here, I simply declare variables active, then this is active total, then recovered. I simply declare the 4 local variable that's. Now inside active what I can store, integer dot parse int, and inside this what we can pass model class list dot get I, and then we have to simply pass here get active. So this is done. Now what we can do, we can control D, and then inside total, and then we have a recovered variable. At last what we have, that's variable. So this is done. Now inside this in total I have to type here get cases. Inside active recovered we have to pass recovered, and inside death we have to pass deaths. We can store this. Now we can call this function update graph. So I delete this update graph from here, and also delete this update graph from here. So now we can simply call the function update graph. We can create this function, and inside this what we can pass these integer values, total, recovered, and at last deaths. Then semicolon. Now take your cursor here, create method, select this main activity. So you can see now it is fine. Now we can simply type here mPyChart dot add pie slice new pie model, and inside this we can pass any variable name, it is your choice, confirm. Then after this what value we want to show on that, we have to simply show the value total, and then after this we have to pass the color code, color dot parse color, and then we can use any color, it is your choice. So I can simply pass the color code hashtag FFB701. So this is the first color code. Now we can simply control D 4 times we need this. Now we have second pie slice for our active, and inside this I can display that different color code, hashtag FF4CA F50. This is the color code, and inside this we have to show the value of active. Then we have a recovered and deaths. So I simply type here recovered, then we have to simply type here recovered, then we have to show different color here. So the color code is 38ACCD. So this is, so it is better to give in capital letters. Now the last thing which we have to show on our graph is deaths. So I simply type here deaths, and then I have to change the variable deaths, and here we have to type here different color whichever you want to pass. So F55C47. So this is fine. Now we have to simply start the animation on our graph to show before showing. So start animation, and this is done. Now the work of this activity is completed. Now we have only one thing is left, how to filter the items. So I write a condition in onBind view holder. So for this, first of all, this is the on item selected. So if user select any item, then we have to send this item on our adapter. So I simply type a string, then I simply give the item name item, then equal, I simply types, and I get the position of that item which is selected by the user, because I declared the type of array type of type name. Then I have to simply type here mFilter dot set text. First of all, I simply set the text to show the item which is selected by the user, and inside this simply type this. Then we have to simply type here adapter dot filter. I create this function inside filter, and inside this we can simply pass the item. So this is done. Now we have to simply create this function inside our adapter class. So come here, press below, enter here. So we have to simply type here public, then it will not return anything, void, then filter. Then inside this what we receive the char text, string char text. Then after this we have simply type here char text dot equals. So if it is equal cases, because you can see inside our main activity I call this function, and inside item what I store whatever the selected by the user. User can select cases, user can select active, user can select recovered. So I will store simply that item inside this string variable, and then I can simply pass this string variable inside using this function. Then I have to simply compare this here. If this string is equal cases, then I have to simply make the m value m equal 1. So this is fine. And then else if char text dot equals, and if it is equal to recovered, then I can simply type here m equal 2, and then we have a third number. Else if char text equal deaths, then we can simply store m equal 3, and at last what we can store m equal 4. So now hope you understand why I type this here, because if user select death, then I can simply change the variable m equal 3. So I can simply type here m3, and I can simply use this. I have to simply fetch the deaths, and I can simply show that deaths on our recycler view. And by default what I store m equal 1. So that's why it always showing the cases, number of cases. But if user want to filter that item, then user can easily filter that. So hope you understand. Now our app is finally ready. Now it's time to check our app whether the app is working, and if it is working fine, then we will end this video, and if there is error present, then we will find that error. So on running the application, I figure out some mistake which I done. So first of all, the first mistake is I forget to add the country names. I simply add the cases, and I simply add the deaths recovered on filter item. So I don't forget to add the country name. So I simply type here holder dot get country dot, then we have to simply set text, and what set text we have to set, simply model class dot get country. So it will return the country name. So this is done. Now this is complete. Now open your colors.xml. So first of all we have to change the title bar color. So I want to use this color inside our title bar. So I simply Ctrl C copy, then I have to make change here to change the title bar color. So this is also done. Now something is left. So open your main activity.java. So one thing I forget to type here adapter.notify that set a chain to show the data, adapter.notify data set chain. So this is done. Now the fourth thing which I forget, we can't directly set these values on our variables, because this is the object and I simply set it according to number. So for setting these values we have to remove this number.format. Then we have to also remove this from here. We have to also remove this from here and remove this here. Now we are forget to add one more line here, mpychart dot clear chart. So it will create the chart. So this is also done. So this is done. Now it's time to check our app whether the app is working, and if it is working fine, then we will end this video. So for this I have to connect my phone, and then I will press on run button. So I connect my phone, you can see, and now I press on run button and grid will start building. So application built successfully. So first of all, title bar color changed successfully, and you can see the by default the country is India selected because I am present in India. So if you are in different country, then it is fine. So now it's a total number of cases, recovered cases and active. So one thing I again forget to remove the active because there is no today active. Now maybe you're wondering why it's showing here 000, because this API is updated in every 10 minutes, but this API is updated once a day when there is after 10 o'clock. So that's why it's showing 0 here. So I recorded this video before 10 o'clock. So that's why it's a time of updating this API. So that's why it's showing 0 here, because maybe this is the timing of API, they are figure out that condition. So for this I want to show my previous application. So you can see this is the COVID-19, this application I created previously in demo video. So you can see this API is also showing 0 because everyone has a time to update their API. So if you check this program, then it is work fine. It will work fine after 10 o'clock, because between 8 to 10 between 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. they figure out the data, they change the data. That's why this will not showing anything between 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So hope you understand, this is free API, that's why. Now if I select on different country, so for this, if I click on Afghanistan, you can see now the Afghanistan graphic is showing and the data is showing. If I click on spinner item is not working. This is working fine, recycler view is working fine, but spinner item is not working. So I have to check what is the problem with spinner item, and also I have to remove the active cases number from here because I don't need this. So after 1 hour I will find the bug. What is the bug, why the spinner is not working? And that is very simple bug. It take my 1 hour to find that bug. So the bug is that I call the array adapter, but I forget to pass here items. So that's why I have to pass the array types. So this is done. Now you can remove this, and after removing this you can see we are calling here the function adapter.filter, and inside this adapter filter function you have to simply use the notify.dataset chain, so it will update the recycle view. So now our app is finally ready. Now it's time to check our app whether the app is working or not, but this time our app will definitely work. So I press on run button and Gradle start building. So now the Gradle build successful and it will install the application inside our phone. So application installed successfully. So first of all you can see the toast is get it. This is cases is select. So you can see by default the graph of India is displayed. So let us suppose if I select Afghanistan, you can see the Afghanistan displayed here. So you can see it is work fine. Now let us suppose if I click on spinner, so you can see I am able to get the item. So if I click on active, so you can see on recycler view it show the active case. If I click on deaths, it show the number of deaths, and if I click on recovered, you can see it show the number of recovered. So it is work fine. So finally our app is ready. Now one thing you may be worry, why it is showing here 000. So I again want to tell you the API will be updated by their company between 9 to 10 a.m. So that's why this is not here it is showing 0, but when you check this app after 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. then it will work fine. So don't worry, we fetch the data from API. So if you have still any query, so let us suppose I want to show you. So I simply open this API corona.v2.countries. So now I copy this whole code first of all. So it is better to Control A, Control C. Then I open the JSON formatter. Control A, delete this one, Control V. So you can see it say today that's a 0 and today recovered at 0. So because they are updating their API in 1 hour, in between 8 to 10 a.m. So that's why, because everyone needs to update, and this is just a API and this is run by humans, so that's why we need to update it. So hope you understand. So now after when you check this app after 11 a.m. so it will work fine. So don't worry, because we write the correct code. So now our application is finally ready. So after watching this video, if you have any query, you can comment down below. I will try to give the answer of every comment. Please like the video, please share this video, because this tutorials take so much time. So I don't want any kind of money from you, I just need your support. So simply like the video, simply share it with your friend, and simply subscribe the channel. So thank you, see you soon. I will come back with another amazing Play Store level app. So thank you, see you soon.